All right. Welcome back to another hour of Scotch Hour. I'm Noah.
I'm Jesse.
And I'm Brian.
All right, Brian, welcome back again.
Always.
Welcome back, Jesse.
Yes.
Good to be here.
All right, this is another, Scotch, what is this? How's it go? Same Scotch time, same Scotch hour?
That's right.
Okay.
Life is great.
Life is great. The whole Batman.
You might need to work on that slogan.
Yeah.
Because it can't be a slogan if you don't use it a lot. And you clearly haven't used it enough.
Yeah, clearly not. I always screwed up. Any case, this episode here should be a really fun episode. One of my favorite distilleries, Oban. We're going to be drinking their Distillers edition. We're going to be reviewing that this evening.
Hot damn.
I do like the green tin there. And that does actually kind of sort of coincide with our topic tonight, because our topic, we're going to be talking about basically the codes for Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, and that kind of is green, kind of like Boba Fett's armor.
There you go. I was wondering how you're going to tie that back around. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
So that's how I'm tying that in there. And
We decided that moving forward, we always have to stretch whatever scotch we're drinking to the character or the subject some way. So like, hey, like this is Scotch Hour. Today we're talking about French food. This is French Blue, whatever it may be.
So any case, and then we also have our restaurant review. We went to the Perfect Landing.
Dude.
Oh.
I don't know if you've ever been there.
I've never been there, but I always drive past it on Arapahoe.
Yeah.
And I'm always like,
And then, so we'll do a brief review of that. And then I guess we'll have our shout outs.
That's right.
Scotch Reviewed.
Super excited for this episode. Super excited for the Oban Highland Single Malt Distillers Edition. So we've had a lot of fun. We've spoken about Oban before, so you can review some of those episodes if you wish to learn the long and short of Oban's amazing history. This particular Oban, the Distillers Edition, is aged and has a second maturation in Montilla Fino sherry casks, which reportedly develops, and this is part of the excitement, a luxurious flavor of butterscotch, toffee, caramel, and of course, as you would only expect and always expect from Oban, a backdrop of that sea salt or brine deliciousness, which goes so great with any of those flavors: butterscotch, caramel, amazing. So super exciting there. And with this, these are aged 14 years, so double distilled, 14 years. I don't know if I'm guessing it's 7 years each way, but that double maturation is something that distillers frequently do for their editions. Lots of scotches do this. Actually, that's not really true. There's really only a handful of scotches which make their distillers editions publicly available. But Oban, Lagavulin, some of these guys do that. And the Oban is one that we've been long and anxiously awaiting for.
So on there, right, it's 2007 to 2021, correct?
That's right. This is the 2021 edition. Was first bottled, or I should say casked, if you will, in 2007. And 14 years later, we're about to enjoy
now
a little piece of heaven.
Each one of these, they have like a lot number or something like that?
They do. So you can look down at the bottom of the canister. Here we got the OD 170FG.
Okay.
what does that mean?
It just means that's the casks or the barrels that it comes out of. So
Special release, limited edition. That's the batch it was.
yeah.
Will every can have that exact same
No, they're all
batch on it?
They're different based on the batch. So any can that's of the same batch, the same year, has that. But much like, like an Ardbeg, there will be special batches and they will have a different variation.
So, but if I'm going to get a 2007 to 2014, I will have that same stamp.
Most 2021.
Yeah. 14 years.
Yeah, but
Math.
yeah, so it
Most
should
math
unless there's like unless they made another cask of the same 14 years. So it should. So there could have been another cask,
A different cast, and that would have a different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they may actually, like, if they did do that, they could have like slightly different tastes.
Yeah. Interesting.
when we talk about some of these canisters, Oban's always done a nice job, nice cylindrical cast. This one has extra details, much like it did with the Night's Watch edition, the limited edition from Game of Thrones. Lots of texture here, design. The color is handsome. It is, you could say, not only semi-formal or casual. You can definitely bring this to a high-end beach party, but this you can also bring to a fine dinner. You know, when three guys are all expected to bring a scotch after a couple of years, and they're like, bring a great scotch, we're doing something special. This is the guys' night or a birthday party. Christmas. This is a great possibility.
You know what I would have done with it? Like back in the day, maybe like in my fraternity, we used to have like a poetry evening where we'd drink scotch and smoke cigars, and like we'd all take turns reading poetry. That would have been like a total win.
Yeah, especially if it was good poetry, not some of that weird modern.
Right.
Everything sounded good there, except for listening to him and his fraternity brothers read poetry. I can't even imagine.
On a dime for a lime in a mine.
Hey, man.
It'd be like a limerick by Noah.
All right, so the bottle, much like the canister, super handsome, great looking. You know, you mentioned the cigar. This is absolutely, you're wearing your smoking coat, you're smoking a cigar. Night's young, who knows where we land? Don't know where you'll land, but we'll always land a great place. Life is great. But with this, 43% alcohol by volume. Again, they do a nice job. The colors, gold, cream, dark teal. This is a sexy bottle.
It is.
It's a sexy bottle.
All right.
You know what? I'm finding it interesting, but the can, it doesn't seem to match the label.
It is a slightly off. They've been that way for a long time through the years. We've ventured through some of these, and it is.
They tend to do that.
It is. I'm assuming intentionally, just a slight variant because it's not. This isn't a one-off. This is what they do, and it looks great.
I do like the color. I like both colors.
Yeah. I really want to taste it now, though.
Dude, we're talking
that
about
caramel.
We're talking about little details, and one of the details I love about some of the finer scotches, and not to bring up a ton of them, but I'm going to bring up one. Lagavulin and Oban typically do very similar corks with this wooden top. Oh yeah, that's a tight seal. Really love that. Every Wallish is happy out there. This is going to be exciting.
Cleanse my palate. Here you go, good sir.
Thank you. Oh.
Thank you.
So retail, I know I see it varying in retail cost, anywhere from where we got it at Bevy's for $114, and there's been other places I go, I think as high as what was it, $139 or something like that, or
I've seen it as high as $179 on some websites.
Okay.
You're getting a deal though for $109, $120. That's a good price. An expected price would be between $130 and $120 for me.
All right. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and do our little cut here.
Cut and taste.
Okay, so we are back here to discuss our findings here. I do love this nice, almost like an orange golden color, or orange Like,
it's a little brassy, much like the Macallan Edition 6.
Yeah, but the Macallan number 6, I think it was a little bit darker brassy.
Still, yes.
But this one has a little bit more of an oranger tint to it.
There you go. I was going to say like an amber orange or a copper amber.
Right around there.
Something in there.
On the bouquet, I'm getting like a deep forest oak. When you when you go to on the East Coast or the Northwest, or maybe even to like Ireland or the UK, where it's a little bit more cooler climate, a little bit more dense than like somewhere here, like in Colorado, and you get that like that wet, deep forest oaky smell. And then from there, you definitely still get that signature from Oban, that brine, and I also get some like slight sweetness, which, as we were discussing when we were talking about tasting stuff, could be like maybe hints of orange or something, that where that maybe that slight sweetness is coming from. Overall, the body from the beginning of the palate to the finish, it is somewhere between like light to medium bodied, very smooth, very elegant, lots of complexity that you're going to get from every facet of the palate. And I think as we keep drinking it, it just unlocks more and more of its little secrets in there. But the initial, I get some caramel, get some slight malt, some creaminess in there, and maybe hints of like almond. And when you get to the finish, you get like a nice fade away to some of that oak. And I really do enjoy it. This is probably one of my favorite Obans, without having to like do a flight. And I think this is an awesome bottle. Like it finishes. It's so smooth. It's so easy to drink. I can really, like, if I wasn't careful, I could probably pop open a bottle and drink a whole bottle by myself without even knowing.
Easily.
So that's a review.
You were careful.
So that's going to be my review right here. I just say, like, honestly, this is like, if you're looking for a phenomenal bottle, this is a great bottle. Honestly, I think if you're a new Scotch drinker, I think you could appreciate this. But someone who like probably has been drinking Scotch for a long time, you're going to start noticing a lot of the complexities of this Scotch. And it, like I said, as we continue to drink it, and I think even as we go through our show, since we just popped it, we're going to actually see a lot more of its nuances revealing itself to us.
For me, it's going to sound a little bit repetitive because I am going to be coming back to this salted caramel chocolate kind of sweet. I mean, for me, the bouquet, that's what I get right in the nose. So that brine is what I'm getting that, and it's in that sweetness. Now, one of the things I wrote, upon drinking it is so 3 O's smooth. It is so smooth.
Smooth
and this is
criminal.
I'm gonna do that lean thing. It's easier in a chair. No, I agree though. If you were wanting to introduce someone, a new Scotch drinker, to Scotch, and you want to get them excited about Scotch, this is it. If they're not excited about drinking this Scotch, then they're not going to like Scotch. This is a very good Scotch. And it's not like, we're all fans of Lagavulin, but so it's kind of, you either like that or you don't. But this, if you just like Scotch or just even American whiskeys, and this is above and beyond, don't get me wrong, but I think you could turn some new Scotch drinkers on to Scotch by introducing this Oban.
Fully erect.
Yeah, for sure. For me, the tip, right on the tip of the tongue, I get
Only the tip.
Just the tip.
Just for a minute.
That sweet caramel right off on the front. It immediately for me goes right into kind of this, like that sweet chocolate orange, which I know they used to advertise those on like commercials all the time. Those like chocolate oranges, right? But I've never had one, and yet I think I refer to it a lot in my tastings.
Never had it, but that's what it tastes like.
The sweetness, that kind of caramel that comes right back in. You get this kind of this oaky kind of like hint to it, this sort of feel. But it, for me, even as the finish blends away, it blends into just a great salted caramel.
Okay.
But not too sweet. Not too sweet.
No.
Like that chocolatey, that dark chocolate that keeps it nice and just perfect. 4 stars or how many erections, whatever you said. It's a good one.
I mean, usually it's a decent night if I got 10.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Truth. So for me, color, medium brass. You look at that. It's beautiful. It looks great. I actually do. Color does matter to me. And
That's what she said.
This is nice and appropriately colored, if you will. Medium brass for me. On the nose, a little bit of orange. A lot of bit of salt. Just a hint of smoke. But as you move to that palate, the orange at the front, as Brian said, definitely comes out. And then it transitions to this salty caramel, creamy sweetness. And the best way to define it is, you really just take a sip of heavy whipping cream. It's not sweet, but it's creamy. You don't add sugar. I'm not talking about sugared heavy whipping cream, but just regular heavy whipping cream. It's just creamy. And then with that, there's that caramel taste. And then the oak at the end of the nose and at the end of the palate, that red oak, I'll say. I used to do a lot of woodworking, and there was a difference in the cutting of white oak and red oak. Hey,
just a tip, woodworking.
A little bit of a Navajo Indian. So it's more of that redwood. It's got to be the Montilla Fino sherry casks that I'm saying like that. The finish is all creamy caramel oak wood, and I'm talking about we talk about wet wood. She's happy. Oh man, it smells so great. It's fantastic. So the finish, oaky, medium length.
She's happy.
Like I said, man, this is fully erect.
No. Rails
off the rails. She's happy. Wet oak.
She
just a tip.
Is happy. No more than a
happy.
tip. This is fully erect, man. This is all the way in there. Okay, it's full.
No half-blasted here, man.
All right.
It's time for our shout-outs.
For me, the shout-outs are going to be wrapped up with the restaurant review.
Okay, so you're waiting for a restaurant review. Okay.
My shout-out goes to Noah because that green chili that I got, that was my restaurant review. Was coming over here and drinking some of that, eating some of that green chili.
Drinking some of that green chili.
I gotta soup it out in there too, It was good. It was real good. Took the recipe. We're gonna enjoy it. It's good stuff.
It's
shout out.
My fifth time making that, so, or actually technically that version, second time.
Okay, so as a rookie, I might be able to pull something off.
Yeah,
close to it. Nice.
Yep, definitely.
Very good. There's my shout out. Well done, sir.
Right, thank you.
Oh, and shout out to choosing this awesome scotch.
Yeah.
Way to go, Scotch Hour. Scotch Hour did a great job this time. It's called Give, Send, Go. And so they said that they would go ahead and they would, for everyone who wants to give money to the truckers for their cause and allowing them for money to purchase food and fuel and stuff like that for them to keep up with their protests, that they could do so. And then they were attacked. And so when their servers were attacked and stuff, Rumble stepped up and said, "Hey, we got engineers on site. We can go ahead and assist you guys." And
pretty sweet.
And defending that. So it's basically, this was supposed to be a shout out to Give, Send, Go,
right,
and to Rumble.
But bottom line, if you didn't know this, it was these truckers really assembling to speak and protect their own private rights, not to be vaccinated, but also to deliver food that wasn't sitting there for 14 days.
Yeah,
and spoiling.
And their whole main point was like, why do we have to have mandates when we don't really interact with anybody? Like, we're in our trucks. Yeah. So, any case, so that was my shout out.
Restaurant review.
the perfect landing, and it was a perfect landing. The food was phenomenal there. We went there on Sunday for brunch. I know you didn't get the invite. I forgot
That's
to
all
invite
right.
you.
That's all right.
Um,
I think I'll have to go some other time. It sounded like it was a.
Dude, we need
Yeah.
to go back
A
in
perfect
the evening for
landing.
another.
yeah, apparently the
Okay.
evening time they have like a piano playing, and it's like,
Live.
Perfect.
yeah, it's like super.
Just
dope.
Dude, it's cool.
It's way cool. It's
She's
super
cool.
dope.
super dope.
Any case,
super freak. Super freak.
it's pretty cool. Like the restaurant, when you first, like, it's on the second floor. You walk in. It's at Centennial Airport. You see the planes coming, taxiing and flying off and taking off, and
You do
coming
get
in.
to see all that?
Oh yeah, man, it's way cool.
Oh my gosh.
And you see
right
like,
by the windows.
yeah, it's right by the windows. And like I was telling Jesse, like when we went there, it kind of reminded me like when I went to the restaurant in Berlin and the TV tower, because it's just like basically one row of tables all the way around. And then you look out the windows, so you're able to like see Berlin going all the way around because it moves. But here, like obviously it doesn't move, but it's just basically like a long strip of tables along the windows, so you can see the planes coming in and taxiing.
Are there
in
different
and-
levels of windows or
No, just one level. And they have like a really phenomenal menu. And I got we both got it, but it was the crab cake eggs Benedict.
Mhm.
And the hollandaise sauce was perfect. Crab cake was perfect. They came with a side of a fruit bowl. All the fruit
Holy
was
smokes. Like, yeah.
super
Actually, fresh fruit.
fresh
Nice.
fruit. Like
Right.
some of the best like strawberries I've had in a while. And then the potato or the hash browns, I guess whatever they were, those were super tasty. I couldn't even finish my meal. Like it didn't look like it was very much, but it was definitely very filling. The mimosa was okay, nothing to write home about. And honestly, I've had better Bloody
We
Marys.
finished up with a Bloody Mary, and that kind of left us both wanting.
Yeah.
Can I ask what that's going to set a guy back?
Yeah.
So depending on what you get, if you get like a,
Stay away from the alcohol. It's going to be decent price.
oh man, you're going to walk out from between 15 and 25 a person. You add to the alcohol, you're walking away 2 drinks, about 45 a person.
Okay.
That's not bad.
no,
That's
no.
average. You can't get out of Taco Bell for less than 15
I
bucks a
hear
person.
I hear that. No kidding.
I've been there a multitude of times now. I've never been disappointed. I would actually say that this was the one time the mimosa kind of left me like, that was okay. Most of the times I'm there, the mimosas are great. I've had the chile relleno breakfast. I've had the crab hollandaise, breakfast. Eggs Benedict, crab eggs Benedict, wonderful English muffins, everything done to perfection. The fruit was amazing. Literally, as Noah was mentioning, strawberries, perfect. Cantaloupe, perfect. Honeydew, great. Not perfect, but great. The blueberries were the one thing, man. Ever since I had on my road trip those fresh blueberries from Maryland, nothing will ever compare. And that's just real. So that was the one thing where I'm like, they're good. But everything else was great. The service now, so we had a shift change in the middle of our breakfast. I'm not even going to call it brunch. I don't know why they call it brunch. To me, it wasn't really so much of a brunch. We were there early, went in about 8:30 in the morning, but it was a great breakfast. It was not a buffet. A lot of places have steered away from buffets because of the COVID pandemic and restaurants and everything you have to deal with to protect yourselves and also your customers. But they've done a really nice job. The atmosphere, amazing music. You were mentioning the music playing at one point. Yeah, it's totally casual. It's cozy,
yeah, I
like an
forgot to bring that up.
Italian diner. The scenery, the
it was
ambiance,
like jazz or something like that. That was playing.
all sorts of things, but the ambiance, the actual experience is amazing. You could easily stay there 3 hours having drinks as long as they're the right ones. Nice wine selection, nice drink selection, great food selection. It's not ever expanding, but a great selection. and I've never been disappointed with the food. So for me, could I take a first date there?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Can you take a
definitely.
second
Yes.
date there? Yes. Could you go there on an anniversary?
Yes.
You know, here's a couple things though that I want you to understand and expect from this restaurant. There will
Make
be-
reservations.
Yeah, make reservations. Expect there to be retired military. You better pay respect. You better not think you're all that in a bag of chips and think you're better than anyone else in there. Because if you go in like that, their staff will let you know you're not, as we witnessed, which I thought was.
And are you pretty much guaranteed to see planes
Yeah.
moving in and out?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, we saw we were there an hour and a half.
Yeah.
There's
There's like
we
a
saw
bunch of
probably
planes.
like 25
Is it
planes.
like, I mean, is this like I'm thinking if I was in high school, I'd be like taking, girls there. For
Actually,
like
I bet your boys,
prom,
your boys could take
homecoming,
it. Yeah, your boys could
Dude,
take
it
it.
is
pretty cool.
a sexy restaurant, and it's not expensive. They
And
can
the
pay
funny thing
service.
is, like, when you see the sign driving down Arapahoe, you're like,
looks like nothing.
yeah, it looks like,
Like I said, that's all I knew of it. But I think Erin has gone there with her friend Molly, and I think they did a brunch. In
And
fact,
she didn't tell you.
yeah, which is crazy because she probably didn't care. But for me, I'm just such
Fuck
a
Brian and
nerdy
his
little
Marvel
kid. I'm like, planes. Ooh, look.
and it's
she's
cool because like they
whatever.
taxi up like really close.
That would be so awesome. I would
Yeah.
just be, I'd be like a little kid.
Yeah, and then apparently like we didn't get to see any, but Jesse said that sometimes when he's been there, you see like the military jets come in and stuff.
They fuel the National Guard's planes and
Nice.
helicopters. And dude, there's nothing like that. Like these little private jets and private charter planes that come in and out left and right are nothing until you see the military. And then like you don't just see it, you feel it.
Smarter Jedis.
Okay, so to keep up with the theme here, there's an ongoing theme about one's code and what they live by here,
And morality. And
and
morals.
morality. And so I had brought up, let's look at the Book of Boba and the Mandalorian. Before we get started, though, I want to also bring in to account that because of Book of Boba in the last episode, we have to kind of look at the Jedi Code as well.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'm going to start off reading some of the different codes that different.
Spoiler
Star Wars.
alerts, but also why do you have to go over the Jedi Code? That's not the Mandalorian or Boba.
Because at the end, in episode 6, I think we have to a little bit just to touch upon it.
All right.
So for the Mandalorians, the actual code in Star Wars
Oban Scotch.
is for Mandalorian, strength is life. For the strong have the right to rule. Honor is life. For with no honor, one may as well be dead. Loyalty is life. For without one's clan, one has no purpose. Death is life. One should die as they have lived. This is the way. So that's the Mandalorian. I think that's actually a pretty good code. And that's
Except I don't like the first part.
Not if you still like the Mandalorian at the end, because at the end he's a tool. Like literally,
well, see, I
He's a
think,
fool.
and so before we even really dive into the two shows, I think when we look at the Mandalorian and Boba Fett, they don't, the clan that he is actually a part of doesn't actually follow the code of the actual Mandalorians here that I just read.
not at all.
All right, now then we got the Jedi Code, which is there is no emotion, there is peace, there is no ignorance, there is knowledge, there is no passion, there is serenity, there is no chaos, there is harmony, there is no death, there is the Force. But there's also another one called the Gray Jedis, which are kind of like part Sith, and well, they're not really the Sith and they're not really the Jedis. And they don't really fall on either side. And it says, there is no dark side nor light side. There is only the Force. I will do what I must to keep the balance. There is no good without evil, but evil must not be allowed to flourish. There is passion, yet peace. There is serenity, yet emotion. There is chaos, yet order. And then we have the Sith Code. Peace is a lie. There's only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall set me free. Now, the reason why I brought up the whole Jedi part here is because we have Luke Skywalker spoiler alert if you haven't watched all of them, but we have Luke Skywalker in episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, not Luke Skywalker like The Last Jedi Luke Skywalker, like Luke Skywalker,
Like-
Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, or like Luke Skywalker in the last episode of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker, who's like a total badass.
But showing up and talking and like having a full like dialogue and role,
Yeah.
it was amazing. The technology is just blowing me away.
It is, and then here's the thing: is like he actually sets up Grogu and tells Grogu, "Hey, you can either take this armor that the Mandalorian has given you, and you can go follow him, or that, and then there's that code, right? And then there's the code of the Jedi, or you can take my old master's lightsaber and become a Jedi." So that's the only reason why I wanted to bring up and touch upon like the Jedi codes. But
So what does he do?
well, we don't know yet.
We don't know.
I honestly, I think by looking at the art, I think he's going to be Mandalorian and Jedi, but I think he's going to actually end up wielding the black saber.
Ooh.
That's my goal. I think that's what I think.
Wow, put it out there.
Yeah.
Hey, it's recorded. It's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. Any case,
You're like Nostradamus. Nostradamus.
Nostradamus. Any case, so
Yeah.
here's the thing. I think
Nostradamus wrong again.
so. I'm going to toss this out here. Whose code do you like more? Who do you think is living a better code? Do you think Boba Fett's living a better code, or the Mandalorian, or how would you guys want to view? How do you guys want to take this down the road here?
Do you want to go first, Brian? You want me to throw some stuff out there?
I would just respond to what you said. Like when you kind of laid down all those different codes. One of the things, even before you started talking about it, like before you laid it all out there, I wrote down like religion, and sometimes, I'm not going to go there. I don't want to get off the rails on religion or anything.
Talking about the Catholics again.
Well, but just certain religions you have to have, and I certain religions are very strict, and you
Right.
must follow this and this, and then there are certain religions that are a little bit more open-minded or whatnot.
It's okay to touch
And-
the little wings.
Oh, it just, as I listened to all of them, definitely, the Mando one just kind of threw me off right away about, I think it was like the first line is like, because I'm strong, I lead, or something like that. I don't know what it was, but it was like, it just made,
I think through strength, something you have the. Here, I can pull it up.
the right to lead. There you go. Something about
Strength is life, for the strong have the right to rule.
that. Yeah. The strong have the right to rule. So that was, I was like, what is strength? What does strength mean? So that kind of made, I was like, okay, iffy, but I can go down that road.
question, because strength is not necessarily might.
Exactly.
And here's the good points here from both of you guys. It's almost like the Star Trek's version of Klingons.
That's what you
Literally,
Yeah.
or the Romulans, or any
Yeah.
of them. But yeah, definitely Klingon.
Anyways, sorry.
I never even, you lost me at Star Trek. I'm out.
Okay.
No. But then I started listening to, and the Jedi sounded pretty good. The Jedi sound, you talked about the Jedi Code, but I was I got swayed into that gray Jedi. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's just what we're talking about. That's my personality. Cause I try and I believe there has to be evil to be good. I believe there has to be balance.
And I think that's great that you brought it up, because I think the main part here with the Jedi Code, they can have like no attachments either. Like it doesn't say that in the code there,
yeah.
but they can't have any attachments. And I think that's why Luke tells Grogu, you have to either choose this route or that
An
route.
attachment or not.
You know what's crazy though?
Love is the answer.
They do have attachments. I mean, they attach to their master, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. And
Yeah, so I
So
think
Luke loved Obi-Wan but couldn't announce it. What? You just ruined it.
Don't drag
Star
it back
Wars
down
for me,
there.
man.
all right. So
That's
Jesse,
a limp lightsaber right there. Just
all
saying.
right. Did you want to jump in for some stuff here? Sorry, I'm just trying to.
I just want to throw out, one thing to think about. The Mandalorian TV show. How would you define it? Because how it
Space
is
Western.
actually defined is an American space
Actually,
western.
I'd say more like along the lines of a spaghetti space western.
So ironically, we covered this about 8 weeks ago.
That's right, like
when we
Lucas was
talked
trying to
about
make initially.
Cowboys. Yes,
Yeah.
it's an American space western. And Jon Favreau did this well. Now, we're done with 2 seasons. We're all eagerly anticipating season 3, anyone who is a fan at least. But when you go to Boba Fett, the question is, what is it? So Boba Fett, the actor, Tamura Morrison, I think that's how it's pronounced. But man, this guy is literally a former bounty hunter and a crime lord. He is literally the mob.
He is, and actually, I forgot to bring up their code, the Bounty Hunter's Creed. No bounty is worth dying for. People don't have bounties. Only acquisitions have bounties. Captured by design, killed by necessity. No hunter shall slay another hunter. No hunter shall interfere with another's hunt. In the hunt, one captures or kills, never both. And the last one is no hunter shall refuse aid to another hunter.
Yeah, so the captures and kills thing, both of them are guilty of not actually following through on that. But a couple things here to think about is we talked about a week ago, Suicide Kings, The Usual Suspects. Suicide Kings began 1997 crime thriller. The Usual Suspects being a 1995 neo-noir mystery thriller. In The Usual Suspects, you have Kaiser Soze. And dude, this guy... Is he the Mandalorian? Absolutely not. Is he Boba Fett? He's the closest thing we've seen to Boba Fett.
I would say he might be close to Boba Fett, but not really.
We do not love. Remember that we do not have emotion piece. And with Boba Fett, I don't know if there's any emotion there. He's one.
I think he had emotion. Like,
what's his code?
Boba had emotion. Because he
did.
Yeah, he had his,
but
son,
his code
his dad
says he doesn't.
Got his head chopped off.
He did have emotion. I agree with you. But his code says he doesn't.
The Mandalorian's code, I think.
The Mandalorians also said nothing and no emotion. They both do, but they both show emotion.
I don't think anywhere it says not to show emotion.
It's not about not to show emotion. It is. You can read it again.
Which part? On the bounty
The
hunter?
bounty hunters? Or the...
Bubba's, man. Read
Yeah.
Bubba's.
No bounty is worth dying for. People don't have bounties. Only acquisitions have bounties. Capture by design, kill by necessity. No hunter shall slay another hunter. No hunter shall interfere with another's hunt. In the hunt, one captures or kills, never both. And no hunter shall refuse aid to another hunter. I don't know where.
So there's no emotion anywhere. So it's okay to be emotional or non-emotional, but there's no dissection.
Sounds
So-
like you can do your job as
So now,
emotionless or
what I'm going to
emotional.
go back to is
if you're a bounty hunter.
3 weeks ago, we had the Punisher. That's
Okay.
the Punisher all over again. He's a vigilante.
Yeah, but I mean,
The difference is that Boba Fett's much greater. He is a crime lord. He is
Now
no
he's a
different
crime
than
lord.
Now,
Kaiser-
yes.
Yeah, he's no different than Kaiser Soze or, if you will, Charlie Barrett in Suicide Kings. He's running a crime ring.
is he really though a crime lord at this point? I think he's trying to be one.
You climb
He's
out.
not there
you
yet.
climb out of the pit of the Sarnak.
Dude, you're a crime lord.
You're a crime lord.
So at
But
the end of the
he
day,
climbed out to become a slave at
Or is
first.
it a
though.
Sarlacc or Sarnak?
I think it's Sarlacc.
so now you have to
I thought
start.
so, too.
You have to start asking yourself, crime lords, because that's what he is. Crime lords and bounty hunters.
He's trying to become.
He's either the Punisher or Kaiser Soze, whichever one. Were they wrong?
Were they wrong about what? What they did?
Yeah.
I think it depends on one's
We're talking
perception.
about codes and moral codes. So dissect this. What is the Mandalorian code? Because we can read a definition. That's not really what the code is. That's not what he lived by.
I
Do
think-
we feel bad that he got kicked out of the Mandalores, if you will, the original sex, because he took his helmet off? He was following directions. Save the
So-
child.
So I think the problem with the Mandalorian is I think the sect that he is part of, to go back to Brian's what you were talking about with religion, there's some religions that are more strict than other religions. And their sect even talks about like Bo-Katan and her family and stuff, like how they were the ruling family, Bo-Katan's family, and how Bo-Katan like lost Mandalore, which doesn't really go into the TV show very much. You have to actually go and watch the Clone Wars, which you'll see that Darth Maul is the one who defeats Bo-Katan, and she loses the Darksaber to her. And then Darth Maul kind of like says whatever and kind of gets rid of the
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
And then Moff Gideon picks it up.
Yeah, the Moff Gideon.
That's how he gets it.
Something like that, because he doesn't fight Darth Maul for it.
Yeah.
And Darth Maul's the one who had it.
So why is he able to wield it?
Well, he's with the Empire, so it doesn't really matter.
He's pretty good at it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in any case, I think Mandalorian's code, like if you look at Boba Fett or you look at as Din Djarin, who's the Mandalorian, I don't think either one of them really truly followed the Mandalorian code. I think because Din Djarin, his sect, they like actually left Mandalore and went to like the moon or one of the other places, and they kind of like broke off, and they're kind of a weird sect. They're like super strict and stuff like that.
Well, and like Boba Fett is not Mandalorian.
Technically, no, he's a clone.
He's a clone,
but I think his dad might have been a Mandalorian.
His dad ultimately was a Mandalorian, then became a bounty hunter. He was always a bounty hunter, and then became a crime lord.
Yes, yeah, but Boba Fett actually really had nothing. He doesn't care about Mandalorian, because I mean, when he came back and he asked, he's like, I just want my armor. That's just mine. That's just So I don't think Boba Fett is. I think he is strictly just a dude who is a bounty hunter, who has some pretty big lore. He's not just a dude. He's done some amazing things, and part of that lore. If you go back and watch, I was talking to Noah about this. I don't know if you've seen it. Did you watch the? Have you ever seen the Boba Fett first appearance in the cartoon?
1978. Star Wars Christmas edition.
Yeah, I don't know if it. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
1978.
Was that 78?
Star Wars Christmas special.
So it is called the cartoon. If you want to catch it on Disney Plus, is the something Wookiee.
Yeah,
the friendly Wookiee or something, and it's this really like kind of noir, kind of weird artistic comic stuff. But again, that his like lore. He like defeated. A big snail or something.
He was a badass.
So his lore, he's nothing. My point is nothing came from like Mandalorian for him. It's just, it was all him. Cause he just saw his dad get his head chopped off, and he's like, let me grab this armor and skedaddle. And he's a self-made dude, 100%.
No, it's
no clan, no group.
The part that's most interesting about that to me, it was literally a decade before the Punisher and the whole psychologically challenged or damaged, if you will, group of vigilante comics and stories came into its prime, but it falls right in line with Death Wish. And I think you see a lot of that if you really think about Vietnam War and what happened after that and what's going on with other pieces. It all makes sense, man. We needed some law and order. We're dealing with that right now. So yes, the interesting piece, Noah, you mentioned religion, or actually Brian mentioned religion. Noah, you kind of defined that. But the religion piece is really challenged, if you will, by Boba Fett. You look at his rules, and his rules are so anti-stringent, they're court opening, if you will, that it's like, so what do you really follow? It's, oh, well, you won't do this, but you won't do that. So you can kill someone, but not if you were going to take them in. Well, those are the two options already.
I think Boba kind of changed after he spent time with the Sand People, with the Tusken Raiders, because I think before he like spent time in the Sarlacc or however you pronounce it.
I'm gonna look it up. I gotta know,
because like when he spent time in there and he escaped there, he got captured by the Tusken Raiders and spent time there. He was basically a captured prisoner, but he earned their respect.
Oh, absolutely! That's why they freed him.
Yeah, exactly. And then by doing that, though, he felt that he then like maybe found, if you will, his clan.
Dude, for me, he was the 40-year-old male finally maturing, becoming someone he knew he was, and being like, yeah, this is what I believe in, and now I'm going to stick with it.
So I think he found his clan, and then his clan basically got destroyed by the fish people.
Yeah.
Pikes.
Yeah.
And then, he's like, I got to go find my armor.
They weren't even sharks.
I got to go find my armor, and I'm going to go, basically, he's going to go commit revenge.
That is a really good point, because my point was he didn't belong to anything. He had no clan, but I think that was his first experience with that.
Yeah. So I think he almost kind of falls a little bit into the Mandalorian code there, but instead of being a clan of Mandalorians, his clan became the Tusken Raiders, and then his clan got wiped out.
I think anybody would, that not necessarily like Mandalorian or not, you would just become a part of that clan if they took you in, like he did, and
then from there, I would say that he started creating a new clan and started becoming the crime lord. But he also, to your point, but he never paid anyone to come on board. He's like, if
crime lords don't. People want to be part of that. Yeah. They want the power, but they don't want to have to follow the other religions.
Fennec Shen.
He's almost anti-religion. Yeah, is my point.
She's like, I want to join you. Basically, like,
didn't he save her or something?
Yeah, he saved her, and he's like, I need your help to get my ship back, and after that, you're free to go. And she's dead. She hung around. Yeah, and then
she wants the D, and he won't give it to her. He might not even have one. We don't know.
And then you got that Wookiee.
I'll tell you what he does have. He's got cojones because he got out of the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, he does.
This big. With the wings.
Sorry.
You both are like this big at the same time.
The balls. Yeah, the balls are bigger than the breasts.
Yeah. And then, okay, I got to ask you guys both this. How did you feel about the armorer telling Djarin that he's no longer a Mandalorian?
Dude, I loved this. The one piece, the one quote I can't forget is that persistence without insight will lead to the same outcome. That one I will never forget, because that one in particular, this is shortly before she then's like, hey, challenge this guy to a death with the duel with the black saber. And then when the dueler is going to fucking die because of the black saber, she's like, fights off. You're not a Mandalorian. Take the black saber and go. Wait a minute. Why then? Why there? Let him kill him. Then tell him, hey, now that you killed one of my best sergeants, you're out. But she didn't do that, and that was her biggest fail and tell to me, if you will, because she was absolutely right with what she said, and maybe that is the long-term goal. Persistence without insight. So in other words, it doesn't matter what you do, how hard you try, if you don't take a step back and say, whoa, I'm still struggling to pay my bills, and now like, we're going from February to March. I'm going to struggle to pay my bills. But if you take the day, the hours, the weeks, maybe even the months to like really take the insight and say, why am I struggling with my bills? What can I change? What do I need to change? What can I control? Or why am I struggling in any facet of business, but the bills? Like, what do I need to change? Hey, guess what? Prices have gone up pretty much across the board, 30%. Inflation will not go away. How do I control that?
All right.
Thanks a lot, Biden lawn. But nonetheless, inflation won't go away. So with that, you have to have insight and then be like, okay, how can I control this? Whether or not it's controllable by you, what happened to you, you have to control what you can do. And that is what, to me, she was telling the Mandalorian, but she didn't really define it. Nonetheless, Mandalorian might be better without her. I don't disagree with that.
Do you think she violated the code, or do you think Mandalorian violated it?
Oh, the Mandalorian absolutely violated her code and the Mandalore code.
I don't think
took off his helmet.
I don't think he violated the Mandalore code, because
he took off his helmet. You can't do that.
Only for her sect.
Well, and here's the thing.
So her sex code.
to hit on your question, what do you think of her kicking him out, just for the helmet thing? It gets back to that that kind of that strict religion,
It's cheating.
versus
It's
the
cheating.
casual religion. And I kind of, it made me think of, in my position, kind of as a teacher and stuff, it made me think to myself, okay, what hill do you need to die on? Like, is this the hill to die on? Like, ooh, the helmet, that's the one to die on. So you got to kind of decide. And you kind of, when I say it that way, you think to yourself, well, yeah, obviously, it's just a stupid helmet. Let it go. But then, and this is a quote by a former Broncos head coach, and I get it. It was Vic Fangio, and he said, death by inches. It's the little things, and enough little things add up. You're not successful.
Was he?
Yeah, but that's like a military code, right? Kind of death by inches. Like in the military, if you let one thing go, you're going to let another thing go. So that's kind of where I'm sort of torn. So I get it. It's like, it's just a little thing.
So this is the killer. Once you break a code, you're done, unless that wasn't ever your code, in which case you're living a lie.
Well, and just at what point, is it just a little thing? Because enough little things, it throws it all away.
Death by inches.
So here's the thing. Now that Mandalorian has done his what is it? His venture or whatever. I forget his mission.
I mean, if you want to go Mormon with it,
what do you call it when he took Grogu?
He was already a solidified member. He was just going on.
He had to do his mission. He had to go take Grogu to the Jedi. Mm-hmm. But then he came across other Mandalorians who actually lived on Mandalore and knew that the Mandalorians, because he interacted with them, they're all like, oh, he's part of that weird sect that doesn't take off their helmets and stuff, and all of them do. So here's the thing. Like, did he really violate the code? He violated the code of that sect, but he did not really violate the code of the Mandalorians.
Well, and okay, so with it, but they're the only sect left. They're the only one who's keeping up these little
there's Bo-Katan and her owls and stuff
do
like
they
that.
all keep up? I mean, so they can still access the little...
Yeah.
So what does he care?
So
if I'd be like, well, whatever, I'm not part of your sect.
So it was never part of his code. It was part of a code he was thinking he was following. But at the end of the day, now he has to decide.
Did he update his code, though, because he got new information?
So this is the trick.
Yes.
So at what point and this is actually really important, because this is where I don't actually think he updated his code. I think he updated his morality. So he only took his helmet off for a child, to save a child in particular. And that is a morality issue, not a code issue. So we talk about code.
I don't think he violated the code the first time.
He violated the code of taking off his helmet. He violated it. But what he didn't violate was his morality.
He took his helmet off 3 times.
He violated morality 0 times. He violated the code of not taking off your helmet 3 times.
See, I guess it depends on how one interprets the code, I guess.
The code is, don't take off your helmet. The morality is, I'm saving a life, I'll take off my helmet.
If it's strictly, do not take off the helmet,
it's moral versus
then he broke
code.
it 3 times.
It's moral versus code. There are differences. I've struggled with this for 2 weeks now, thinking about this very fact. But the difference is, there is a code. You're Catholic. You can't touch the little boys.
There's also another thing out there. It's called, there's the letter of the law and spirit of the law.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah.
But the difference is, the letter of the law is the code. The spirit of the law is emotion or morality, if you will. And I agree with you. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're absolutely 100% right. He broke the code 3 times.
I don't think he violated the code.
He's out. He's wrong 3 times with the code.
I think 2 of the times he's okay.
3 times morality.
I forgot what the times were.
Okay. So the first time
you can't take your helmet off with anyone else around.
I know, but what were the 3 times?
You say what? Anyone.
It's like,
so the first
really talking about Catholics and sex.
The question she asked, did you ever take your helmet off?
Yeah, she asked, did you ever take your helmet off? And to that answer, he took it off 3 times. Once with the robot, in order for the robot to kill him.
The robot wasn't a human, so he didn't realize that was a violation.
The second time he took it off, but no one saw him take it off, but he put on a stormtrooper helmet.
To escape.
I think it was to break in, or was it to escape? I think it was to break in.
No, it was to break in when they were in that 18-wheel drover.
And then the third time is when he took it off, when already Bo-Katan and her other Mandalorians had already taken off the helmet, and Super Jedi Luke Skywalker comes in and crushes all those robots, and then goes to take Grogu away. He takes off his helmet so Grogu can see his face.
Bottom line is a rule's a rule. So there is
Rules are made to be broken.
That is not a code.
But again, it sounds like that.
That's
Okay, it sounds
morals, not code.
Okay, but it
I agree
sounds
with you.
like
I'm right. Moral, he did not break. Code, he broke.
But it sounds like
That's the truth.
those codes vary.
Okay, so
Right? The
I'm gonna
codes
define this
vary.
very
Kind of
simply
like
for you.
the laws vary from Europe to here,
Okay,
Amsterdam to here.
Wait,
We're all humans, we're all earthlings, but our codes vary.
you're not wrong. You are absolutely right. But what the truth of the matter is, you're in America. The speed limit is 40 miles per hour. As soon as you go 40.01,
You're breaking the law. Yeah.
However, that is a code, not a morality. That is what the Mandalorian did.
Yeah, that's
He's still wrong. The difference is the Mandalorians don't
So
know.
can you be wrong and right at the same time?
Well, I wonder though, because here's the
Weakness and
thing.
strength.
Here's
if you
the thing,
bring
though.
emotion in as the evil in that point, to your point, the evil emperor's like, oh, well, the imperial code is X, Y, and Z, emotion. Yeah, with emotion, you can absolutely. I'm trying to get to a wedding of my daughter because she's marrying some fool I hate, but I'm going to do it anyway. And so I'm pissed, but I'm also late, and I'm going to go 120 miles per hour down the road. Let me off, officer. I got to get to this wedding. This is real. It's
Okay.
emotional, though. It's not
But
factual.
for
This guy
Mando
was
and his
an
code-
idiot for leaving
Yes,
late.
for Mando and his
For
code.
Mando and his code, I would equate it to somebody told him, look, you have to drive 40 miles per hour on this road. And he goes, all right, I
was
believe you have to drive 40.
speeding already.
And
He was breaking
then, no, but listen, but then he goes
country music.
45. And he's like, oh, God, I went 45. And then the cop pulls him over and goes, well, dude, the speed limit's 45. So it was okay. Right? So did he break the law?
Douche canal.
Right?
You know
Yeah,
that is,
He
right?
broke. He didn't even break the code because he thought he broke his code. So yes, he thought he broke the code.
He thought
but
he broke.
They're like, dude, you didn't really break the code.
Yeah.
But now this new lady's like, you did break the code.
Well, it's
so he's
the
getting
old lady.
mixed message on code.
He was always
Yes.
breaking the code. He knew the code. He was breaking it. He did break it 3 times, but he didn't break morality. And there is difference between moral and code.
I will give you that, but I'm
Yeah,
just
no
saying,
one
like,
denies that.
You're not giving me anything. There are differences between
No.
code and morality.
I agree
A
with
plus
you
B
there.
equals C.
I give you
That's
that. I agree with you.
Morality is, dude, I
But
can't
I'm
kill this
telling
guy to kill an asshole.
like he got wrong information from the first person, got additional information from
This
another
is why
person.
I was so
and then
excited
goes
by this
back-
episode, by the way. I knew this was going to end this way. By the way, dude, it's just real. Morality and code are different. You have to
They
dissect them.
They are.
And code
True.
is real, but code is for people who have zero emotion. You can't be 100% code if you are 1% emotion. Every percent emotion that you are, you lose that in code. There was a 100% rule. I've lived
All
my
right.
life by it since I was 18.
So you have no emotion.
No, I absolutely have emotion, but I will not say I'm like, this is 100% strict. If I'm like, well, you know, 50% of me is like,
So you have a base code.
bro, you're my son. You broke this rule.
No,
But
that can be applied in like all sorts of facets in life.
it
Like, I
definitely
mean,
can.
like
That's
just
just
as
it.
you've grown older, you know, your parents are like,
here's the
never,
thing.
ever, ever, ever lie. And then you're like, well, sometimes,
I'm drinking all your own.
sometimes.
I know you are, you bastard.
I got 3 bottles upstairs. You're good. You got 1 bottle over here. So my point being, though, I don't wrong the Mandalorian for any of his actions.
Neither do I.
do emphasize that they were emotional, not factual. So he's not a priest in the Catholic Church molesting young boys.
I'll probably hate
hidden.
myself in the morning, but
Yeah, I'm off tomorrow. Yeah. Anyway, so he's
he
not.
probably just blew out somebody's drum ear or eardrum.
I want to see what it
He was
looks
back.
like
He backed away. He knows
when
how
I
to
blow
project.
your drum ear.
Eardrum.
Wait, I want that.
Eardrum.
What is happening?
So
Too much.
the point
too much
is,
scotch.
The point is, this is my point. Boba Fett is Kaiser Soze in The Usual Suspects. The Mandalorian is
The Punisher?
no. Well,
Dude, Kaiser
that's the
Soze
closest,
is
yeah.
so beyond Boba Fett. Boba Fett does not match up to Kaiser Soze.
Dude, Kaiser Soze killed his own wife and children to make sure the Hungarian mob didn't.
That's what I'm saying. Kaiser Soze is like out there on a whole different level.
I
he's
agree with you,
beyond.
but
He's
Boba
like,
Fett's the closest.
So
Boba
what would
Fett
you say, like,
nothing.
Who would you say, like, human form is closest to Boba Fett?
Boba Fett. Boba Fett.
Donald
I don't know,
Trump.
man. Boba Fett is like, I'm thinking like Scarface or something.
Scarface? Say hello to my little friend?
Hell yeah.
Depends that, so
'Cause that's
Boba
that's who
Fett-
Boba Fett was. He was pretty much
He
an
was like
assassin,
that.
but now he's changed. So he's a little more Tony Soprano. You know, he's got.
I'd say
some
probably more
emotion.
Tony Soprano.
I would say more Sopranos, which is going to
Yeah.
be possibly 3 weeks from now. I'm just saying.
Nice. Oh my
I
god!
give-
I cannot rewatch all the Sopranos. Can't
I'm
do
not
it.
asking
Can't
you.
be
You
done.
remember most of them. That's how
Not really.
stigmatizing
I
they
mean,
are.
the gist of it. But yeah, he's more Tony Soprano because
I'd
there's
say-
that emotional
I'll give
piece.
you, yeah, I'll agree with you on Tony Soprano over Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, I'll go
'Cause I
Tony
think-
Soprano.
Kaiser Soze is one of a kind. In
Kaiser
the Usual
Soze is
Suspects.
just,
why.
he's wicked
I would
evil. I
say-
don't think Boba Fett's evil. Kaiser Soze is wicked evil, man.
So I will actually say and challenge you guys
I
to
say
think
Kaiser
about.
Soze is probably closer to like maybe Darth Vader or the Emperor.
Yeah,
I'm
there
gonna
you
say-
go. Yes.
I'm going to say,
Yes.
actually, I want to challenge you on that and say
I said
not
probably-
Darth Vader or the Emperor, but Luke Skywalker.
No,
Luke Skywalker is Kaiser
why,
Soze.
why not Luke Skywalker?
no, because Kaiser
He's not
Soze.
evil.
Luke
he's-
Skywalker.
Okay.
Luke Skywalker kills everything he perceives as evil based on his emotional experiences in the past with no emotion. Oh,
I don't know. The Last Jedi
He's a
is
Jedi.
not my Jedi.
That wasn't really the Last Jedi. You might be the Last
Not
Jedi.
my
You're like,
Jedi.
No, the Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is where like all of a sudden like Luke Skywalker goes from being a total badass to being like this total drunk Jedi. He's like, I killed my nephew because I had a bad dream. Like
Yes.
that's such a stupid
Yeah, that's
effing movie.
that's the Wolverine. Like nothing's new. This story happened again in the Wolverine. Now I'm crying.
Anyways, we probably should wrap up. We've
We
digressed.
already
and
knew
went
this
on-
would be the longest episode ever, but you know, a couple of things I want to wrap up with is you really you have to think about the fact that Boba Fett versus the Mandalorian. So which one is great? Which one is not? Is one better than not? I will tell you in Boba Fett episode, I think it was episode 6, season 1, episode 6 might have been, no, it wasn't 5, it was 6. 5 struck me though when the armorer said persistence without insight will lead to the same action. I think that's real, and I think that's the long-standing life of the Mandalorian. And the question is, none of us know yet. John Favreau, don't ruin it for us, so don't tell, but does he learn? And that is the truth for any of us. The Punisher, any of these characters, Charlie Barrett, Kaiser Soze. Did we learn? Did we apply persistence without insight? You have to learn from your actions. Did you take that action? Did you learn? Did you apply it? And her comment means very much to me that the Mandalorian either learns or doesn't. My guess is he does. He brings a greatness to the future of Mandalore and the Mandalorians. I actually hope that, but I also hope he becomes human, and that's also real. But it absolutely is part of something we talked about all the way back to talking about that this is a freaking cowboy space movie series, and I love that. And Clint Eastwood, thank you. I'm gonna get off my bandwagon, pass it on. But cheers to you, John Favreau. These series, these episodes have absolutely enthralled me. You know what that word means. You've enslaved me to your shows, and I love it. But man, bring it on. And the Scotch, only more delightful than ever. Brian, Noah, you guys are next. Brian.
All right. For me, Book of Boba. Just talking about the Book of Boba. I wanted to get a little deeper into the important stuff like
That's what she
Tatooine and all the awesome aliens. And I'm very, very into what Favreau's done. And Tatooine is the perfect place to go back to. Like that is the hub, right?
Yep.
Where like everybody can come there, spice smugglers, and you're going to see some people from everywhere. So I love that they can bring in all the different aliens. I liked talking about the is Boba, is he moral? Is he following a code? I think you need to, for me, I go back to the Gray Jedi. I love theirs. Theirs was that perfect balance. And I'm a pretty gray dude, I think. I'm always I'm always amazed at how many people that I come across can talk like so 100% about something. And I can't, because I'm always open to be like, hey, you know what? You might be right. I'm open to like alternatives. So I'm
Think
more
about Mr. Miyagi.
Oh, yeah.
Walk on right side road, okay. Walk on left side road, okay. Walk in middle.
They're
Squish
100%.
like
I'm gonna get squished like a bug
Their
because I'm
100%
open.
though is the fail. That's the not having insight to experience. I actually think that the armorer was telling him, man, you're on your own path to greatness. And I actually believe that
I think
is that he was the one that would have insight, whereas they did not. I actually think she was giving him credit because they would all fail.
I think if she really was holding up to her own creed or code,
She wouldn't have told him that.
not only that though, she like Mando could have put her in her place. He won the black saber out of a fair fight,
Yeah.
and those who won the saber out of fair fight twice.
By the way.
Are
Is
supposed to lead Mandalore.
Exactly.
So he should have been like, you know what?
He could have been like, "Fuck you, bitch." You
Never
follow-
mind.
No,
You take your
I just
helmet
got
off,
that bomb.
and you take your helmet off.
I know.
Everybody takes your helmet
think
off because
you
I'm
need-
wielding the saber.
I think you need to understand that is John Favreau's long-standing point here
Yeah,
is
I agree.
that's bullshit.
Anyways, continue on after I dropped my F-bomb there.
No,
Sorry,
that was it. I
Okay.
dig talking about it, and that's a
Frank.
very good point.
Frank and
'cause
Winnie's F-bomb.
She needs to. Yeah, he could have been like, hey. Oh, and by the way, when you have that strict of a code, okay, nobody is perfect. So
Exactly.
nobody, if your code is in, you must do these things, nobody can follow it. So really morality, the human element, whatever that code is, there's always a bend and a fluidity. So she could have been called out just anyway, be like, dude, I know you took your helmet off, whatever. You're not
Perfection.
perfect either. But he could have called her out for that reason. And he could have also been, hey, check out my saber, lady.
Perfection
I'm in charge here.
yields weakness.
Okay, so
potentially.
I guess my wrap
Your
up.
wrap up, yeah.
My
Your
wrap up on the Mandalorian and Boba Fett.
Trump hat.
I think, my Trump
Looking
hat.
good. Looking good.
My Trumpkin. I do believe, like, as a young age, as we grow up, we are reliant upon our parents, teachers,
Open Scotch.
mentors, other things like that, and our mind is much like a blank computer having a software uploaded into it, and I believe we start off with a set code or base code, which will then eventually evolve over time, and I think it can change or it can alter, but ultimately, whatever we set off in the beginning as a base code will be our base code, and we won't very
Too far from
too
that.
far from it.
That median.
And I think what's happened with the Mandalorian is, like, he was given a base code as an orphan, and I think when he came across and got other information added in, he kind of updated it, but it wasn't really ever truly his true code, because he had that base code. And I think the whole helmet thing is like a peripheral type of code that can be changed.
No, that base code makes a lot of sense because I think
And
I agree with you.
Still
We're
think
all
you have to separate code and morality.
I'm not, and I think that's where morality does come in. Is it kind of helps change
that
the
base
peripheral.
character. Maybe you can use the word your base character.
Yeah, your base character.
But then that's why I stay gray because
Yeah.
I've got that base, but I'm open to gray.
And I think it's kind of interesting seeing, like, how George Lucas or how the Star Wars universe all kind of encompasses, like, different codes for, like, the Mandalorians and the Sith and the Jedi and stuff like that. And I think John Favreau being the other Dave Filoni, I think is his name, the other guy, who are co-creators of the Book of Boba. I think they've done a really great job of bringing in all that stuff and trying to introduce it and building the whole legends and all that stuff in. And obviously it hits home with all three of us because I think this particular podcast could actually go on for hours. And especially like if all three of us didn't have like work the next day,
I know
that scotch would be gone.
That
And the
scotch would
second
be
bottle
gone.
would be open.
and
it's gonna
another
be
bottle would
gone
be
no matter
open.
what.
And but
I'll go get a bottle upstairs right now if you guys want to keep talking for another hour.
Yeah.
but here's the
I've
thing.
got-
Whoa.
3 more of these upstairs.
But here's the thing: is that I think everyone has a code, and whatever your code is, you try to follow it as best you can.
But
And I do agree with Jesse.
That's
here.
the question. Codes and morality don't necessarily
And
align.
as I was about to say, as I do agree with you, Jesse, that for every point, I guess if you're looking at a point system, for every point of morality, you lose a point of your code, and you can't like sometimes
100% rule.
Potentially.
potentially, and sometimes they don't always mesh together. Sometimes
Unless they do mesh together. I was going to say, then it wouldn't.
yeah, most of if you can be in total alignment, then that's great. But there's some times where a morality check or a morality point comes up, and you will
Goes against the code.
against the
Yeah.
code, and yeah, that's where that spirit of the law comes in. And this is what your point was earlier. There's morality versus the code, and you have to take a deeper dive into it. With that, I think this is a very fantastic and very complex topic to discuss, and I wish we had more time on our podcast to cover
Dude,
this.
we do next week.
We do next week. But to wrap it up here, we'll just say, stay true to yourself, have your code, but also be aware of the morality of what of others and yourself.
Be gray. Gray Jedi.
And do what's, just be you, whatever. With that though, Jesse, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah,
First
don't
of all,
forget next week, RQ,
how do you say it in English?
Hercules.
Hercules?
Hero.
Hercules,
If you read
Hercules.
it by the American pronunciation, was Hercule Poirot. Is the detective, the French detective. And this is so great because, man, you guys have so much to learn about this gentleman who was originally a Belgian priest. And with that, though, Agatha Christie's crime detective, if you will, this next show will really focus around him. We've already seen his previous movie, and we're going to continue to see his next movie, Death on the Nile, directed by Kenneth Branagh. He's also the main star. So the director is also the main star, the guy with the wild mustache, who...
Really?
Yeah, dude, the director is the
cool.
main actor. And we're also going to enjoy the space side. Ben Riach 10.
Nailed it.
Yeah, man. No, I know I did because
I
I
know.
researched it. Ben Riach 10. Space side. 3 cask matured.
Ooh,
Scotch.
Recast.
three cats, not two,
Not two.
not
Here's
one.
Not one.
Here's
but
why-
three casts.
Here's why
ladies
this
and
is
gentlemen.
most impressive to me. This is the first one where it's Rachel Berry, a female. Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey man, don't shoot your load here. Wait till the next episode.
I don't know what she looks like. But we got
Jesse's like, you're speaking my language now.
right
Innuendo. Innuendo.
Wait. In,
Anything you want to say to the people to sum up?
yeah, no. Please drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. I bought my beer.
Jesse
on-
will not be driving
Wait,
anywhere
oh,
tonight
or tomorrow morning.
or tomorrow morning.
Brian, thank you for being on the show once again. I love this piece because ultimately my goal when I started this all the way back in like 8 episodes ago or 7 episodes ago with Cowboys was, what is your code? What is morality? And at the end of the day, you should have a code that you stick by. But there's also a morality piece. And this is where the struggle comes in. Is where do you bend your code? So I will always wear my mask. For example, the Mandalorian. But his morality, that's his code. What his morality is, I've been sent on a mission to save the child. And now he has to, oh, well, shit, my code's out the door. I had to take my mask off. And that's real. And we all face that at times in our life. And I am super excited to continue this for at least another 3 episodes. The next one, Detective Pedro in Death on the Nile, comes out this week. Next week we'll review it. Dude, I can't tell you I'm more excited. Ben Riach Scotch. This is a 10-year. Done by Master Blender Rachel Berry. Yeah, man. No, I'm actually stoked about all this because part of this whole thing, this last 8 weeks, has been, what's my code? What's my morality? I have 2 kids. I have a code. When do I blend it or bend it or break it? When do I not? Brian, you're up.
I think I wrapped up already. I think I was done. Yeah.
Do you want to say anything to the people?
People? No, I like the blend it, bend it, break it. That's pretty good. Blend it, bend it, break it.
Okay.
With morality and code.
All right, so I'll just finish up saying thank you everyone for watching us. If you're on YouTube or Rumble, if you were listening to us on Podbean, Spotify, or any of the other formats, I want to thank you for listening to us. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Please leave some comments about what you think and what you believe about the codes or the Mandalorian or Boba Fett. And next week, just keep in mind, we're going to watch Death on a Nile, and we're going to discuss that. And that detectives was a whatever.
Hercule Poirot.
We're gonna talk about
no
that,
no H.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the detectives, his code, and with that here, I want to say cheers and same bad time, same bad channel, or in this case, same Scotch time, same Scotch channel.
Don't drink and drive.
Please drink responsibly.
Cheers. Cheers.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a Patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.